Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to CBMNet for inviting me to say a few words to you today. So my name is Andrew Staphnill, and I work in the Business Interaction Department of BBSRC, and it's very much our role to help to facilitate and foster the interaction between academia and industry. And so for those of you who may not be as familiar with the BBSRC as you might like to be, the BBSRC is one of the 7 research councils which are publicly funded, and we fund and invest in world-class bioscience in various research organisations all around the country. We also invest in bioscience training, skills development in the next generation of researchers, and with the aim of delivering the highest possible social and economic impact from our research investment. We also interact with industry and the public and various other stakeholders to make sure that we maintain an open dialogue and to make sure that we're working together wherever possible. So this is our jigsaw slide, and this slide aims to summarise all of the schemes and mechanisms that we have at our disposal to help work with academia and industry. And so these can be broadly split into 4 different categories. So we've got collaborative research, people and information exchange, commercialisation and development, and collaborative training. And so each of these icons or logos represents a different scheme, mechanism or opportunity to fund that interaction. And so hopefully some of these logos will be familiar to you. Logos such as the Industrial Case Studentship, which funds PhD studentships with industrial involvement. It's a particularly popular mechanism. Or you may recognise some of the research technology clubs, such as BRIC or IBBE, which have a collaborative research portfolio with industrial involvement. So I don't have time to go through each of these schemes or mechanisms in any great detail today. But what I will just do is highlight one of the schemes that's active at the moment, and that's the Flexible Interchange Programme, or FLIP. And this mechanism aims to support the movement of people, skills, technology, and techniques between different environments. And so the interchanges can be academics, industrialists, movement between different scientific disciplines, but also between the charity or policy-making sectors as well. And projects typically run from between 6 and 24 months, and typically fund projects that are around the 50 to 150k mark, which funds salary costs as well as some research funding costs for any consumables that you may need. So the important thing to note about this slide is that the arrows point in both directions. And so if you are an industrialist that are looking to spend a little bit of time in an academic lab, then this scheme can support the movement of you to that lab to take on some new skills or techniques and transfer them back to an industrial setting. And there's an active call out for this programme at the moment with an application deadline of the 15th of October. And if you are interested in this scheme but are unable to make that deadline, then this scheme does run next year as well, so there's other opportunities to put in applications. So all of the schemes and mechanisms that are described in the jigsaw slide relate to the full remit of BBSRC funded science. So what's BBSRC doing in the biotechnology area specifically? Well, in consultation with various stakeholders, we've defined 4 kind of key priority areas. These are the limitations of cellular productivity, the sustainability and economics, the productive routes to various chemicals and high-value chemical manufacture, and the challenge of water in biological systems and recovery of products. And through investment in collaborative research projects, we hope to develop new feedstocks, new pathways and new products in various areas such as platform chemicals, biofuels, or even biopharmaceutical products. So the two new schemes that operate in the industrial biotechnology area specifically are the NIB networks and the IBBE catalyst. And so the NIB networks aim to help to coordinate the communities and build capacity within those communities, engage with stakeholders in a variety of different contexts, and each of the NIB networks has a dedicated pot of proof of concept funds to help that community to explore new ideas and new challenges in a quick way. The networks also aim to help those communities to access larger scale funding, either through the Industrial Biotechnology Catalyst, TSB funding, or via any of the schemes and mechanisms in the jigsaw slide that flashed up earlier, or even international funding. And the aim of that is to help to move technologies and products through the proof of concept stage, give them the research funding they require, take them through feasibility stage, and all the way up to scale up and demonstrating commercially viable projects and technologies. So there's a range of 13 different NIB networks, which we can see here, and we can see CBMNet falling here into a rough grouping of the cross-cutting networks. And the NIB networks have started getting up to speed this year. They've only started this year, so they're very much building capacity in those communities, and will be running for the next 5 years and becoming of increasing importance in this area. So I'd very much encourage you to both to continue to engage with CBMNet, but also to take a look at the various other networks, as they all have their individual niches, and you may have research interests that span multiple networks. So the Industrial Biotechnology Catalyst is a larger scale programme which has been given £45 million worth of research funding this year, and it's co-funded by the TSB, EPSRC and BBSRC. And it aims to put together large-scale collaborative research projects which are also cross-disciplinary as well, with the aim of translating research from fundamental research through to commercially viable projects. The Catalyst has a dedicated program coordinator who will be able to assist in giving advice on submitting applications, and also to help to work out which of the various funding streams is the most appropriate for your technology at any given point. So the program coordinator is Adrian Hickson. I've put his contact details there, and I very much encourage you to make use of his expertise if you are thinking about putting in a Industrial Biotechnology Catalyst application. So the aim of the aim of the IBBE Catalyst and the type of research proposal that we're encouraging will always need to have a translational element and aspect to them, but this can address any of the challenges across industrial biotechnology, for example, the production of high-value chemicals, the production of biofuels, or the production of biopharmaceutical products such as antibiotics or proteins. And project applications will need to also consider the economics and the sustainability of any technology that's being proposed, so that at the end of your research project through the Industrial Biotechnology Catalyst, you're creating viable products and technologies that are commercially applicable. So the Industrial Biotechnology Catalyst has a range of 5 funding streams. And this may seem a little bit complicated to begin with, but it can be very quickly simplified into the further down the list you go, the closer to market your technology, product or process is. So if your project still requires a significant amount of fundamental research, then you're probably looking at the translation or feasibility type projects. If your project is at a more advanced scale and it's looking at issues around demonstrating commercial applicability and scale up, then you're probably looking at these later stage funding streams. And the relative costs reflect that as you get closer to a commercially viable project. So the deadline for these four funding streams closes in September, so you don't really have too much time to do anything with those. But the feasibility stream here has an application deadline of the 10th of December, and with the likelihood of renewing the industrial biotechnology catalyst in the new year, so there's likely another call in the new year. So the overarching aim of the networks and the IB catalyst is to bring together researchers, build capacity, and coordinate the efforts of the community. So by interacting with the networks and accessing proof of concept funding, as well as being facilitated into putting together larger scale project proposals, we hope to be able to move technologies, products and processes through to commercially applicable and viable projects. So all the way through the discovery and research phase, through the proof of concept and feasibility stage, into demonstrating scalability and commercial viability, and through to commercially viable end products. So I'd very much encourage you to interact with the networks and to make best use out of the expertise in the room and the cross-disciplinary nature of these types of events. So I'll stop there, and if there's any quick questions, might be able to take one, or you can catch me throughout the next 2 days. Okay, thank you.